So, I popped into High House Insurance to see if they could quote for my house insurance rather than using the internet. High House got a great deal. So to celebrate, I bought a posh hairdo. It made me look beautiful, gorgeous enough to become a highly paid model. I then won Celebrity Big Brother. I had an affair with an MP. Now I'm promoting a doll of me that says, "Cool, blimey, you're well fit."
Happy things happen when you talk face-to-face with High House Insurance. See if we can beat your home insurance quote from the internet. Find us on the High Street Selsey or call 606 552.
Hello and a warm welcome to Manhood Internet Radio. I'm Tony Wiener, your host for the show. We will start the programme this week with Alison's review of what's on in the area. Sam Tate from Selsey Town Council gives us an update on the Selsey Festival now that the programme is available. Keith gives us answers to last week's quiz, and this will be followed by John Mallett, our local astronomer, who tells us what to look out for in the night sky this month. Mike Beale from Selsey Town Council discusses how we should respond to the A27 road consultation and also gives us an update on what is happening with the weekly waste collection at East Beach following West Sussex County Council's proposal to scrap it. We have a fascinating piece from Keith Barnes on the Monte Carlo or bus rally, and then we head to the garden where our expert David Gaunt gives us tips on what we should be doing at this time of year. We will finish the show with our Mr. Quiz, Kevin, who poses another set of brain teasers. Okay then, so we have a lot for you again, so let's start the show, and it's over to Alison for a roundup of what's on in the area.
Hello there, and welcome once again to our weekly look at what's on across the whole of the Manhood Peninsula and Selsey Town itself. I thought this week, because I'd rather let the Witterings down last week, that I might start with them, because they've got a couple of specials coming up this summer. So here's a bit of news on Bracklesham and the Witterings. First of all, on the 10th of August, between 3 and 4, there's going to be a special family yoga workshop. Lou runs that, Lou Etches, and she says that it's her playful workshop and it's jam-packed with yoga poses, games, meditation, some breathing exercises, relaxation, positive thinking, massage, acro yoga, and whatever feels right on that day. She says that children will talk about the class over and over again. Sounds to me like the adults might as well. So this is for children aged 4 to 10. And the cost is £15 for a parent and a child, and for each additional child there's another cost of £5 or £10 for an additional parent, so it rather depends on how large your family is. The price does include a drink. If you'd like to go, you need to ring Lou to book that. Her number is 07981 368 49. I'll repeat that, 079681 368 49. Or you can email her, Louise_Etches, that's ETCHES, @hotmail.com. If you're interested in going on her mailing list, then why not go to www.yogayoga.club, or you can have a look at her Facebook page, facebook.com/yogayoga.club. So that's on the 10th of August. Next up at the Witterings on Saturday the 13th of August is a fun day. This is a regular event and there are lots and lots of things for all the family to do. So do go along and support the local community. It's being run by a set of volunteers from the BBCA, so I think that's probably Bracklesham Barn Community Association, but apologies if I haven't got that right. And if you'd like to lend a hand on the day, you can be marshalling the cars, patrolling, supervising, putting out barriers, tidying up and so on. Please could you contact either Lucy or Joyce. They're available on email, brackleshambarn@gmail.com, and they'll pass on your details to the organisers. So a big thank you to them, and you're very welcome to go along to their fun day. So let's have a look at the regular events down there as well. There's table tennis on Wednesday the 10th of August. That's a drop-in session and play for adults only. It's held at the barn between 10 and 12 midday. Also in the morning, there's CBT motorcycle training at the barn from 9 until 11. followed by Gyrokensis with Jen from 11 until 12. You can then try belly dancing with Step Inside from 1 until 2 and short mat bowls from 2 until 4. Now, if that hasn't worn you out for the entire day, try the evening. We've got Zumba with Louise, also at Bracklesham Barn, from 6:30 until 7:30. And there's happy hour at the barn 5 until 8. On Thursday the 11th, as usual, it's Busy Bugs Toddler Gym. That's from 9:15 until 12:15. Then there's Stitch and Yarn to be held at the Witterings Medical Centre from 10:30 until 12:30, and also Knit and Natter at East Wittering Library. That's from 11 until 12:30. For those people who are creative, how about going down to the Witterings Master Art Group? That's from 10 until 12 at West Wittering Memorial Hall. Then for those who'd like to be a little bit more active, there's the West Wittering Short Mat Bowls between 10 and 12, 2 and 4, and also an evening session between 7 and 9:30. That's held at West Wittering Memorial Hall. Maggie's the person to contact for that one. Her number is 673 231. And later in the evening there's an open mic night at Pond Barn at 8 o'clock. So that's our roundup for the Witterings, and now we'll move across to Selsey Town Centre itself. Last week, of course, was Lifeboat Week, so there was heaps to do that week, and we now move into the Selsey Festival weeks. Oh, Sam's already on this recording, so I'm not going to steal her thunder by telling you about what's going on. I'm just going to have a rundown of the other activities in the town. So on Tuesday the 9th, we've got a bat walk, which is an evening stroll with bat detectors in hand to discover which bats call Pagham Harbour their home, and you can learn more about these intriguing nocturnal matters. That's an RSPB venture from 8:30 in the evening, and it will take about 2.5 hours. Booking is essential, so you need to phone 641 508 to go on the evening bat walk. The cost of that is £12 a person, or there's a reduction if you're an RSPB or a BCT member, and that's down to £12 for members. On Thursday the 11th of August, there's a Salt House Sundown, also at Pagham Harbour. This is part of the 40th anniversary of the Friends of Pagham Harbour, and they're inviting you to come and relax with them over a drink and nibbles as the sun sets over the harbour. That sounds fantastic. Let's hope it's a good evening with good weather. That starts at 6:30 in the evening to be held at the Salt House at the end of Church Lane in Pagham, and it's a free event. In Selsey Town itself, on Friday, we've got the fantastic End of the Pier show. This is now in its 14th year, so let's see if we can make it a record. This year, they're going to celebrate the 9 momentous decades since the birth of Queen Elizabeth II, with selections from the musicals, films, TV shows, sketches and comedy, plus, of course, jobs. There's a pay bar, and they hope to make it a nightclub atmosphere with seating round the tables. So do go along to that at the Academy. They're also running it at 2:30 and 7:30 the next day, Saturday. Also on Saturday, there's a grand exhibition by the Selsey Model Boat Club. That's to be held at the Methodist Church from 10 until 4. It's a free entry, and you can come and see their grand fleet of model boats, all skillfully crafted by their own members. And there'll be a chance to win a radio-controlled fire tender all ready to go. So that's on Saturday. On Sunday, it's possible to do another guided walk. You can discover Medmory, with yellowhammers, corn buntings and grasshoppers all providing the summer soundtrack, and butterflies to see flitting across the fields. Again, booking is essential for these RSPB events. So the number to ring again, 641 508. So the Discover Medmory Walk begins at 10 and should last about 3 hours. The cost for that one is £7 or £4 if you're an RSPB member. Just along the lane in Siddlesham on Saturday is the Cat and Rabbit Rescue Centre Summer Fair. That's going to be held from 11 o'clock until 4 o'clock. Admission for that is £1, or if you'd like to bring a donation of cat or rabbit food, then they'll waive the admission fee. You can see cats, rabbits and guinea pigs, as well as a selection of things to buy: books, plants, refreshments, gifts, jewellery. There's a raffle, home-produced products, toys and new goods. So do go along to the Cat and Rabbit Rescue Fair in Siddlesham on Saturday. The young people, of course, have plenty to do in Selsey over the summer, as we've been speaking about over the past few weeks. For families, Burnet's Family Fun Fair is coming, so there's lots for all ages there. But particularly for the young, there are a selection of summer activities all being held at the bridge. So I'll just give a quick rundown of those once more just to remind you. There's the Summer Skills Theatre project. That's from 10 until 4, age 16 over, and that's at the Selsey Academy. There's a filmmaking project on Tuesdays from 10 until 5. Again, it's free to join, and that's for 11-year-olds upwards, to be held at the bridge. There's an activity drop-in day each Thursday from 2 until 5. Cost for that is £1, and that's for 10 to 16-year-olds. That one, however, is held at the Selsey Centre, so make sure you get to the right place for that one. There's a summer art experience on Wednesdays from 11:30 till 4. That's free to join, and that one is held at the bridge. Don't forget the Growler, or is it Growler, gardening project on Fridays throughout the holidays. That's from 11 until 5, so quite a long session. It's free, and you just have to be 11 years and over. That's held at the bridge. What else is going on for the youngsters? Well, on Tuesday the 9th of August, there's something called Mudlarks and Crafts. Mud, glorious, mud. And that's what a lot of our wading birds locally think. So come and find out what it is that lives in our mud that attracts so many birds before you make your own monsters that might hide in our mud. Sounds fantastic. That's at 10:30 a.m. at the Visitors Centre, and it will last for 2 hours. It's £3 per child, or £2 if you're an RSPB member. And then on the 11th, which is Thursday, there's the all-popular pond dipping event. So you can discover what weird and wonderful creatures lurk in the depths of our pond at the RSPB Centre. That's from 10:30 until 3, so go along to the Visitor Centre for that. I think that's all for now. Hope you have a good week here. If you're visiting us, then enjoy the weather, and I'll speak to you again next week. Bye for now.
Thank you, Alison. It's a busy time in the region. Now it's over to the two Johns, who are talking to Sam Tate about the Selsey Carnival.
Here in the studio now we have Sam Tate, who's from the Selsey Council, going to tell us something about the Selsey Festival this year.
Okay, so it's almost that time of year. Festival comes round. It seems to come around very quickly. Can't believe it's 12 months since last time. But Festival this year runs from Friday the 5th of August until the bank holiday Monday the 29th of August. So lots of good things coming up. We open on the 5th of August with a music concert at the Selsey Centre. We've got a folk band there, which the Folk and Music Club have organised, the Rude Mechanicals, who are one of the best folk bands on the south coast, and fully licensed bar there as well, so no reason not to go along and have a good evening.
Sounds very good.
Absolutely. Tickets available in advance from the town hall, or you can just buy them on the door on the night, and it's only £5, so really, what are you waiting for? It is. It's and it's always nice to get music in the festival. We've had a bit of a lack of music for the last couple of years, so I'm really pleased that we've got a band back in. So then we kind of like run through from there. We've got lots of the usual events going on, so sort of free dance and tone sessions, free Pilates, Bouncy Castle Day on the 9th of August, and we've also got that evening John Mason giving his lecture as well.
Yes, that's about the International Space Station and Tim Peake coming back, or
it is. It's kind of about using the International Space Station as a springboard for further exploration into space, and perhaps how it could be used in the future to maybe even get us to Mars. If anyone's read The Martian, then clearly you need lots of duct tape, but hopefully one day we will get there.
I shall definitely be listening to that one. Okay.
Then we've got the first weekend is the Summer Arts Exhibition in the Town Hall. That's always really popular. Art Stream work in conjunction with the wood turners and with the camera club. So the whole of the town hall complex gets taken over for the weekend. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And there'll be paintings, workshops, photographs, sculpture, wood turners in action, lots of things going on. Again, it's always a really good show, and artwork obviously is available to buy as well, so it's always a good one if you're down here on holiday or whatever to come pick up a reminder of Selsey.
And there's a beer and rounders fun day.
There is. That's at the cricket club on the Sunday. And again, beer and rounders is just a brilliant weekend. It's so busy. So many teams. I think every year they think they're never going to top it, and they end up with sort of 20 or more teams in it.
If the weather's as good as it was last year, it was fantastic.
Absolutely. It's a brilliant day. They have the hog roast there. There's the bouncy castles, the stuff going on all day. And it's just a lovely, lovely way to spend a Sunday.
And then just after that, you've got the Gainsborough Singers, and I've heard they're very good.
They are. Tony Martin, who runs the Gainsborough Singers, does the show every year. It's always really popular, and they are fantastic. It's a really good afternoon's entertainment, really nice, really sociable. Thoroughly recommend anyone comes along to that. And then obviously that day as well, we've got Fame on in the Academy as well, which Cloud9 put on with the young people, and again should be a fantastic show. They've got a full orchestra, full rock band in there with it accompanying and stuff, so live band. It'll be a brilliant show, and the kids are always amazing. I'm never ever cease to be dumbstruck by how talented some of the kids in Selsey are.
Sounds like it's a very good show.
Absolutely. And then obviously sort of we've got that week as well, we've got the U3A have got their wine and cheese evening, and it's a bit of a sort of mini antiques roadshow really. They've got JP from Bargain Hunt there as their speaker this year.
Wow.
So he'll be doing valuations on the spot. There'll be prizes for who brings the most interesting article along. Obviously lots of good wine and cheese as well, so that should be a really good evening. And if you've ever wondered whether that vase at the back of the cupboard is worth anything, then that's the day, Thursday the 18th, to go along and find out.
And that's in the Selsey Centre.
That's in the Selsey Centre, yeah. And then obviously we've got the following weekend, which is the weekend of the 19th to the 21st of August, is the Screen on the Green weekend down at East Beach, which again is a massive weekend for the festival. So we've got the giant outdoor screen there. This year we've changed the screen slightly, so we've got a screen that means that we can show films in the daytime as well as evening. We don't have to wait for it to get dark this year, so it means we've got some afternoon matinees on as well. So we have Friday the 19th of August, we've got Mamma Mia in the evening, and then we've got a late night showing in our marquee of the Rocky Horror Picture Show at 9:30. And then on Saturday the 20th we have got Frozen in the afternoon at 2:00. Then at 7:00 we've got Back to the Future, and at 9:30 in the late night showing is The Life of Brian. And on Sunday the 21st, the afternoon film is Shaun the Sheep the movie, the evening film is The Italian Job, and the late night in the marquee is With Nail and I. So it's going to be a massive weekend. There'll be food on down there, stalls. There's the kids from the skate park are doing a competition down there, so there'll be skating to watch. There'll be water sports and things going on down there as well, because the Sea and Salad Fair takes place at the same time, so there'll be local groups, local stalls, people like that. It's just going to be a really good weekend. There'll be stuff going on there all day, and even when there aren't films showing, there'll still be stuff happening, so people should just come down and enjoy it. But it's a busy weekend, that one. Clearly you've got the car show at the recreation ground that day as well, the classic car show on the Saturday. You've got the craft market in the town hall on the Saturday. It's just, going to be a big, busy weekend, but hopefully people will come along and support all the events.
I think that new screen's going to be a definite improvement. From what I've heard, it's a trailer-based, huge
it is,
or LCD or LED screen. Absolutely.
Comes on the back of a big articulated trailer. It's kind of like the sort of things that they use at big sporting events and stuff like that. So we're very, very excited, frankly.
Yeah. Well, I should be down to watch Shaun the Sheep, so...
And who could not love Shaun the Sheep the movie? Who would think that you could make something so funny with no dialogue, and yet it's proof that all humour is universal.
Well, I've seen it lots of times. I went to the premiere, in fact, because my daughter worked on Shaun the Sheep.
Fabulous.
Right.
And then we get into the final week, obviously, of the festival. We've got some workshops taking place on the Friday, the 26th of August at the Town Hall, which are really for people who maybe are just interested in how to improve their public speaking, build a bit of confidence, that kind of stuff. So there'll be some fun workshops which you can just turn up and take part in. We've also got that weekend as well on the Friday night, the West Sussex Guitar Club are doing their concert at the Selsey Centre. And that's always a real highlight of the festival. They're so talented. They're one of the best guitar clubs. Well, certainly on the South Coast, probably in the country, to be honest. They're absolutely fantastic. And then the final weekend, we've got the Lifeboat Bazaar on the Saturday. We've got some art exhibitions in the Town Hall, and clearly, most importantly, the last weekend is Carnival weekend. So Sunday, the 28th, is Carnival Day. Procession leaves from the recreation ground at 2 o'clock. Heads sort of down the high street, round Seal Road, back up Grafton, and then back round. Does a nice long circuit, and the theme this year is Mardi Gras. So I do believe there will be a walking jazz band, and there will be all sorts going on. It should be a really, really good afternoon.
It starts earlier this year, doesn't it?
It does. 2 o'clock start. They've moved the start forward a little bit, but you know, should be a really good afternoon. Well, hope for the weather. Let's hope that the weather lives up to Mardi Gras and it feels just like Rio.
It was pretty good last year. I attended the last one, so it was
absolutely
good. And it's a good route too, because it doesn't stop all the traffic through the town the whole day.
No, absolutely. So, you know, again, please, people, just come out and support Carnival. It's always a lovely event, and you know, get behind the festival. It's a great thing that happens every year. You know, please support it.
Okay, well, I certainly will.
Yes, and me, yeah.
Thanks very much, Sam, for that information.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Sam. A lot of interesting events to see over the summer. It's now over to Keith with answers to last week's quiz.
And here we go with the answers to last week's Kevin's Connection quiz. And Kevin asked us, what is the most common name for a British pub? And that was the Red Lion. Which athlete did Sharon Davis divorce in 2000? And that was Derek Redmond. In which 1985 film was Tom Hanks mistaken for a spy because he'd lost an item of footwear? And that was The Man with One Red Shoe. And which pop group was originally called the Frantic Elevators? That was Simply Red. And finally, what is the Muslim equivalent of the Red Cross called? And that's the Red Crescent. And that's a lot for this week. The link, of course, is the colour red. A bit easier, Kevin. Getting there.
Now over to our local astronomy expert, Astro John.
Hello, this is John Mallett with some information on what you can see in the night sky in August. Well, this month we're going to be passing through the tail of a comet. It's a comet that was seen some time ago called Swift-Tuttle, and this is going to produce a meteor shower roughly in the middle of the month, with a peak between the 11th and 12th of August. So if you go out and look in the northeast at about 45 degrees above the horizon, about 11 o'clock, you should see quite a lot of shooting stars or meteors on both the 11th and the 12th of August. If you really want to be able to see the meteor shower well, then travel just a bit north of Chichester into the South Downs Dark Sky Park, which is the South Downs National Park now. Choose a good location and sit there with your deck chair and look up at around 11 o'clock at night, and you should see a really good display of shooting stars. While you're in a dark sky location, you could very well look northeast at about 45 degrees and see the big W-shaped constellation Cassiopeia. And if you take the right hand part of that W, which is a V, and use it as a pointer, you can see our next nearest galaxy. You go down and to the right using it as a line, and then the first bright star you come to, you go up to the next dimmest star you see, straight up, and then the same distance again you'll see a fuzzy patch, and that fuzzy patch is our nearest galaxy. And the light that's come from that galaxy has been travelling for 2.5 million years. So it's quite something to see something that distance. You need to be in a dark sky site though to see it. Even though you might be in a dark sky site, when you look directly at something that dim, it sometimes disappears. And the reason for this is that your optic nerve joins the centre of your eye, and therefore it's not as sensitive right in the middle of your eye. So if you look either side, left or right, a little tiny bit, suddenly it will appear again. This only applies to very dim objects, obviously, because the sensitivity of the eye is not as good in the centre, but still perfectly adequate for daylight. And using this technique of looking to the left and to the right a little bit is called averted vision, and is well known by astronomers for seeing very dim objects. So I hope you have clear skies for seeing the Perseid meteor shower on the 11th and 12th, and I hope you have some success seeing our nearest galaxy, Andromeda, which is 2.5 million light years away.
A lot to see in the sky. A change of scene now as we go to Keith, who is talking to Mike Bill from Selsey Town Council.
With me in the studio now, I've got the chair of Selsey Town Council, Councillor Mike Bill. And Mike's going to be talking to us about a couple of points that he thinks are very important and could affect us all. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. What I'd like to talk to you about today are two things. Firstly is the A27 consultation. Now, please go to one of the roadshows. It's an important issue for everyone on the peninsula, and particularly if you live in Selsey, because whatever you think of them, the changes will affect you. There is no doubt about that. Every day of your life will be affected by your access to and from the A27. So go to the roadshows and make your views known. Let Highways England know exactly what you think. I went to the consultation in Fishbourne on Tuesday, and I have to say the presentation I thought was very clear and well presented. And there is a CGI presentation which gives you a helicopter's eye view of the proposed changes to all of the options on the A27 between the roundabout by the Pizza Hut and the roundabout up at the Fishbourne. So it is very important that you understand exactly what is being proposed and exactly how it's going to affect you. And it's worth a visit just to see the CGI alone. I mean, it's brilliantly done, I have to say. And bearing in mind that not only have we got the situation as it stands, with more houses being built, not only in Selsey, but also along the rest of the B2145 on the way to Chichester, and a free school, which is going to be built on the convent site, that's going to add to the traffic at the junction of Wick Road. And that needs to be seriously considered from your perspective, because it will affect you. And now you need to take the time to express your views. If you say nothing, then please don't complain when you find out that it affects you and you don't like the changes to the A27. Take this opportunity. You may not get your way, but at least you've let your views be known. And if you've let your views be known, that's what you should be doing. Let everybody know what you think. Let Highways England know what you think, whether it's good or bad, whether you like the options that are on offer, or whether you think there should be a change. Please go and let everybody know. The online consultation started on the 14th of July and goes on to the 22nd of September. But please don't wait until the last minute. Because what generally happens is you wait till the last minute and you think, oh, should have done that, and then you find that the cut-off date is passed and you missed the boat. So act now and put the date in your diary, because in the Selsey Centre on the 5th of September between 10 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night, the presentation will be there for you to make sure you get your views across. So put that date in your diary. Go and do it now. Before you forget about it, put it in the diary and make sure that you're free to go and see that consultation. And as I said, make your views known. And the website for the Highways England is www.highways.gov.uk/A27 Chichester. And there's also a link to that website on the Town Council website, District Council website and the County Council website. How you get off the peninsula is important. The proposals will affect you. Whatever way you get on and off the peninsula, they will affect you, and you need to make sure that everybody knows exactly what you think. The second thing I'd like to talk to you about is the consultation at the East Beach Amenity site from West Sussex County Council. Following their consultation and the comments that people put in, they have decided to change the system. From October, in line with the changes to the opening times at West Hampton, the collections at East Beach will be every other Friday. Okay, so it's every other week. Instead of a weekly collection, it's now a fortnightly collection. Now, to help you, the CDC offer a green wheelie bin to deal with your green waste. So if your trip down to the tip is to take green waste, for a small annual charge, you can deposit your green waste in a green wheelie bin and the district council will come and collect it. So all you have to do is contact the district council, ask for a green bin, and they will do the rest. And it saves you having to store garden rubbish for 2 weeks to go to the East Beach amenity site for them to take it away. And the CDC are also having a recycling week starting in September the 12th to help you manage your waste and do as much recycling as possible to help both the planet and the district council. Because did you know that every tonne of waste going to landfill costs either the district council or the county council over £80? That's £80 per tonne, and that's going to increase. Now, if you think that's not enough that is spent on the projects that you think are important for the council, then just consider this. You pay approximately £140 per month. There are 9 tonnes of waste in a truck. So for every truckload that goes up the road from the East Beach amenity site, it costs somebody nearly 5 months of their council tax contribution, and none of that contribution goes to either the district council or the West Sussex County Council. All of that goes directly to central government. So your £140 per month, 5 months contribution per truckload. That's quite a significant issue, I think. So no wonder the services are under financial pressure when all this money is just lost, because as I say, it goes straight to central government. County and district see nothing of it apart from the fact that they collect it and then have to pass it on in the landfill tax. £80 per tonne, and that's going to go up. So it is important that we learn to manage our waste and reduce it to the absolute minimum. Obviously, there will be some things that you can't do anything about. They will have to go to landfill. But if that's reduced, then obviously you pay less landfill tax, and more of your contribution to district council and county council goes to providing the services that you really want. Bearing in mind, it is your money. And then on the positive side, in terms of managing the recyclables, for every tonne of recyclable material that's sold, the profit goes to district council and West Sussex County Council to help you keep your council tax down. Now, you may think your council tax is high, but it's going to get higher if we continue to waste the opportunities for recycling and refuse to manage our waste in a sensible and reasonable and reliable way. Both you and the planet and the district council, everybody benefits if you manage your waste properly and recycle it properly. So just to recap, the East Beach amenity site is going to be on a fortnightly basis. There is going to be a recycling week starting in 12th of September by the CDC, and there will be a show down in Selsey, probably outside the new co-op in Warner's Yard. There'll be an exhibition and things going on to help you manage your waste. And if you want to carry on wasting your council tax and give it straight to central government rather than district council and West Sussex County Council, bear in mind, as I said, if you spend your average contribution of £140 per month, for every truck that goes up from the East Beach amenity site to West Hampton to landfill, takes 5 months of your contributions to pay for that, just in landfill tax. That's a ridiculous amount of money, and therefore it's incumbent upon all of us to manage our waste, reduce our waste, and increase our recycling rates.
Well, thanks for making those couple of points, Mike. They're very valid indeed, and let's hope people act responsibly and take the action that's going to lead to most benefit to the community. Thanks once again, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Please do respond to the A27 consultation. It is very important. Now, on the subject of roads, it's over to Keith.
Now, if you're the kind of person that still likes a little bit of adventure in your life, I've got just the thing for you. I've just come back from France and Italy, where I took part in the Monte Carlo bus banger rally. Now, this rally runs over 3 days. Well, it actually runs over a bit more than that because you've got to leave England to get to northern France to start with. But from the start in northern France, down to Monte Carlo, and then on to Nice for the final evening, and that's over 3 days. Now, all you have to do is to buy a banger for £300 or less, and they do check to see the value. They check with Glasses Guide to see the value of the vehicle, so there's no real cheating, although Some of them looked a bit iffy. But anyway, it's all done in the right spirit. There were 87 cars taking part this year, all of them doing it for charity, to raise money for one charity or another. Ours was no different. Now, the vehicle we had was a 20-year-old Vauxhall Monterey, which is a badged-up version of the Isuzu Trooper, 7-seater. There were 5 of us in there with all the accompanying garbage, fancy dress outfits and whatever else we needed for the period. And we drove down to Saint Quentin in northern France on the first day, and then we spent the evening there getting acquainted with all the other teams and generally having a bit of fun. And then the following morning we all met up in a big car park and all had a look over each other's cars and took lots of pictures and stuff. And then we were set tasks by the rally team to do all manner of daft stuff along the route and to find all sorts of stuff and have photos taken in strange places. But a great bit of fun, and everybody does it in the right spirit. So it was a really great time. The first day we drove from Saint Quentin down to Dijon, and we stayed in Dijon overnight. Then the following day, the same again, we all met up and got our instructions for the day, and we drove from Dijon to Turin. And the same the following day, we met up in the morning for the final sector, which was down to Monte Carlo, where we tried to gain access to the casino square, but unfortunately it was closed off, so we couldn't get in there, or some of them managed to get in early, but it was closed off after midday, so we couldn't. And then we drove on down to Nice. And then in the evening, we all met up at a pub called Manhood in Nice and had a whale of a time. Now, if you think some of the cars that took part were, one of them was at least 40 years old, a little Renault 4. And there were all manner of cars there. There was Jaguars, there was Volvos. They're all done up. If you want to have a look at the pictures, go onto the Monte Carlo Bust Rally Facebook page and you'll find lots of pictures on there. And you can see what kind of fun you can have doing this. And of course, the ultimate object for all the teams was to raise money for charities. And we successfully raised over £2,200 for the Alexander Divine Trust, which is a trust that's building a children's hospice in Berkshire, where the friends that I went down there with came from. And so it was very successful. And of course, if you don't want to drive your car back, they have provision for you to drive it to the local scrapyard in Nice, and they'll scrap it off for you. You've got to have the company documents, of course. And one chap actually came up to me in the evening and said, on the Sunday, and said, look, do you want a car to drive back in? I've got this Rover, it's got brand new tyres on it, it's in good nick, it's MOT'd, it's taxed, and he couldn't give it away. I, of course, couldn't take it because I was going with 2 of the friends that we travelled with. We were spending a week back up north of Dijon in a beautiful gîte, and we had a week's holiday up there to round it all off. But I would certainly recommend it if you want a sense of fun, and you want to take on roads like the Great St Bernard Pass up over the Alps. There is a diversionary route that you can take to get around that if you'd prefer. But it was excellent fun. I can't speak highly enough of it. And you can look on the website, which is www.montecarlobustrally.com, and that'll bring it up for you, and you can look in and you can sign up for next year. Now, they have 2 routes. The Champagne Charlie route, which is the route that we took, which took us down through Champagne country, which we enjoyed immensely. Or you can go the Black Forest Gâteau route, which takes you down through the Black Forest, ending up in the same place, of course. So I would certainly recommend it. So have a look at it and go and enjoy yourself. Have a bit of fun next year.
Well, who knew about that? A change of scene now as we go to David Gaunt and what we should be doing in the garden.
Good morning. Today I'd like to talk about what to do in your garden in August. Some of the things, of course, will be covered last month in July and will carry the same as this month, but what to do in August. Obviously, deadheading perennials. Keep deadheading your perennials. It'll encourage new buds, and even if the autumn's a bit short, you'll still get plenty of flowers. This is particularly important with sweet peas. My sweet peas towards the middle of August are beginning to look a bit sad. The foliage is dying back and, well, not looking so good. But if you keep picking them and keep deadheading them, you will get continuous flowers. Similarly with roses, continue to deadhead the roses. The only proviso is, if it's one of those roses that only flowers once, and you want the hips to develop, so you've got those lovely orange red hips in the autumn, don't deadhead. Clematis, leave. I'd like to leave a programme later on to talk purely about pruning clematis. Wisteria. Wisteria should be pruned twice a year. Normally one would say by the end of July you should have pruned your wisteria. If you haven't, the thing to do is to cut back those long whippy stems that I've developed to 4 or 5 leaves. And that's all you need to do at this time of the year. The main pruning for wisteria is in November, and similarly I'll talk about that later on. For your lawn, keep mowing. Keep the mow down to about an inch and a quarter if you feel it's a bit dry. If you've been away or going away, try and arrange someone to cut the grass for you. Or if when you come back the grass is a lot longer than normal, give it 2 cuts. As I said in an earlier programme, never take more than 1/3 of the grass away. So if it's about 2 to 3 inches long, cut about an inch off now, and then next week, a bit later on, take a bit further down to the height of 1 inch to 1 1/4 inches. Continue feeding your plants. Don't feed roses beyond the end of July, otherwise all you'll have is whippy lax growth which will not produce flowers and will be killed later on in the season. This time continue to feed your lawn, but not with a high nitrogen fertiliser. Use one with a fertiliser ratio of N, P and K of perhaps 5 nitrogen, 15 phosphate and maybe 20 potash. That will give you the ratio of potash for continuing to harden the lawn and some phosphate development. However, do continue to fertilise your pots. They've probably got annuals in them. Once you've finished the end of the year, they'll be discarded. So a capful of liquid feed in a watering can of water, keep feeding them. Watering the garden. I generally don't like to water the garden particularly, but certainly this time of year, if you've got camellias and rhododendrons, they're actually developing next year's buds, so they need plenty of water at this time of the year to make those buds fat and luxuriant, ready for next year's growth. I'll obviously continue to water your pots. Weeding. I'm a great believer in the hoe. Weed regularly, hoe regularly. It's a lot easier. 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a border once a week. You'll be surprised how many weeds you can keep down and how tidy the border will look. The other plant to treat at this time of the year is ground elder. Ground elder or horsetails, any of those invasive perennial plants. They've got full leaf cover now, so the herbicide will be taken well up into the leaf, down the stem, into the roots and kill the plants. So if you can do, use a spray on your ground elder. If you've got problems with bindweed, you can get the glyphosate gel, which you rub on the leaf. It's like a hand cream. Make sure you're wearing gloves though, as you should be with any chemical in the garden. For hedges, August is a time to cut your hornbeam and your beech. I found this year in my customers' gardens that the beech has grown particularly strong, and actually I've already been cutting probably since mid-July in some gardens. But generally, hornbeam and beech, the month of cut is August. Privet and Lonicera, which is that very small leaved hedge, will be cut all the time, so probably every 4 to 6 weeks you're giving it a light trim. August is a good time to cut the conifers, but remember, never cut too hard back into the brown, because unlike privet or laurel or hornbeam, conifers will not grow back if you've cut into the brown. If you've gone that far, you're too far. And the other thing to do at this time of the year is just have a general look around your garden. Where are the gaps? Where are the plants that are particularly in the wrong place? What plant needs to be moved a bit further round? Have a look around the garden, make some notes, and then in the autumn when it's time to move plants or buy plants, you'll know exactly what to move, where to move it to make sure your garden looks even better next year than it did this year. Thank you.
I expect that has encouraged you to pop out into the garden, but before you do so, it's now that time when we challenge you with another tricky test. So over to Kevin.
Kevin the quiz here with 5 questions. What connects all the answers to the 5 questions? Question number 1. What class of fast sailing ship was the Cutty Sark? Now located at Greenwich, but what class of sailing ship was it? Question number 2, cricket question. Which Yorkshire-born bowler took 19 wickets for England in a 1956 Test match against Australia? Question number 3. The body of clerics that convenes to elect a new pope is known as a college of what? A college of what? Question number 4, at the movies. Which 1995 movie, directed by Michael Mann, starred Al Pacino as Detective Vincent Hanna and Robert De Niro as thief Neil McCauley? What was the one-word title of the film? And question number 5, I think you might have to look this one up. Which 2001 piece of American legislation has a name derived from its full title, Uniting and Strengthening America by Providing Appropriate Tools Required to Intercept and Obstruct Terrorism? Now that's a mouthful, isn't it? But what is it called? Okay, so 5 questions. What connects all the answers? Good luck.
Well, I think we've got 2 of those right, Kevin, but I think it might have led me to the answer, so I think I know what the answer is to this week's one, but we'll see.
Good luck with the quiz. And now we have reached the end of this week's show, so it's thanks to all our contributors, including Local Life magazine, our sound editor John Mallett, our presenters Alison, David, John and Keith, not forgetting of course our producer John Fletcher. So it's goodbye from me, Tony Weiner, until next time. Bye.